Hey y'all, welcome to Camille Street, and this is my new podcast. So, I'd like to welcome each and every single one of you to the first episode of Camille Street, and today, Camille will be diving into DEI. And I pray you all can hear me very well because, like you see, I'm using my podcast equipment. So let's get into it. Right now, because of the climate of this country, rights around the world have been threatened. A lot of us fail to realize that this country we all who live in it and abroad call America has come and in an about face. There are many corporations, many small businesses, and many people whose small minds are forgetting that DEI is really just an acronym, y'all. So let's break it down. Let's get into it. That is the saddest part about what is going on right now, is because people want to put acronyms on real words in real life. So I would like anyone watching this podcast or listening to it right now on Camille Street to raise their hand if they feel that they are diverse. I would like anyone who feels like if they are working for a company and they put their time, their energy, their mind, their thought, and their time, like I said, time again, and I will continue to say time, into a company deserves equity. Please raise your hand. And anyone out there listening to this podcast today talking about the acronym DEI feels like they want to be included when they work for a company that they are walking in their diversity in, and that they really want to receive some type of equity in, and they want to feel included, please raise your hand. There is not one single person on this planet that we call Earth the same, which makes them diverse. There is no one, there's not even a CEO of their own corporation that will speak up and say, I don't want equity in this company that I worked so hard to build. And there is not one single person that will sit there in the face of their employees that help build their corporation and tell them that they will not be included. So here we come to the acronym DEI, which is the saddest part about it, is we've all failed to realize that those are three very, very important words. Growing up, I'm from West Virginia. So I had a very country accent. And my mother, she is from Ohio. And she had a mother who was an educator. And when I started talking, you guys, for a lot of you who do not know me, I was very accented in my nature of home, aka West Virginia. And the way I talked would have had me ridiculed, laughed at, made fun of. But my mother, because she's lived in this cruel world already, decided to make sure my vernacular was one of the English tongue, I should say, this native tongue, so that I would refrain from living a life of being bullied, of being ridiculed. And so that's why when you hear me speak this way and speak so proper, it's due to my mother's teaching, because y'all, I talk like this. When I was growing up, I was so country. Sometimes it comes out. Now, when I talk, to people, sometimes it'll come out. It'll just come out. And they'll be like, ooh, where are you from? And I'll have to let them know, I'm from West Virginia. And I'm like, ooh, you sound country. Yeah, that's really how I would have sounded if it not been for my mother, who is very diverse. Let's just start right there. And she has definitely built equity in this country. And she has definitely been included when DEI was not a freaking thing. Okay, people? And that is the saddest part about it, is that people want to put diversity as some color. Me being diverse will never equate to the color of my skin. Me wanting equity when I work for a company and I give ideas to this company and I go and I make this company look better, I build relationships with this company's clients. Of course I want equity in that company. So for a company to say, oh, you don't deserve equity. Yeah, you work for me. You work for me. Like literally, do you hear yourself as a CEO that you would want to tell your team, unless you know how to be a part of a team? Because if you don't want your team to have equity in your business, it sounds like you do not know how to be a team player. And then inclusion, don't you want to be included? Because you want people to work for you. So, okay, CEO, if you want people to work for you, doesn't that mean you want inclusivity because you want to be included in the business that you build? Right, CEO? Or are you allowing other people to make your decisions for you? CEOs or owners, or, I'm going to take it a little step further. All you shareholders who put your thousands of dollars that your diverse self putting equity into these companies, because you do know that your hard-earned money shareholder is your equity into these companies. So when you go and you pull your stocks from these companies, you're telling them, you know what? You're divesting from my equity, and I think I'm not included, so I want to be out. You guys, y'all hear my alarm? That's letting me know I've been talking to you all for 7 minutes. Most of these platforms will only allow you to talk for 10. So I'm going to shut my alarm off, and I'm just going to make my final plea. Because I have a business, and now it's time for me to push forward. So I challenge each and every CEO, each and every shareholder who puts their money into a corporation, each and every manager, each and every general manager, each and every person in charge. I challenge you to tell your team, if you have dropped diversity, equity, and inclusion from your business, I challenge you to tell each and every member of your team, you're not diverse. You do not deserve equity in my business, and you will never be included. That's the challenge that I am putting out for each and every one of you CEOs. I challenge you and I dare you to tell your team those words. And let's see how many team members you have left. It is time to acknowledge that every person in this entire world universe is diverse. And it's time to acknowledge as a business owner that every employee that aids and adds value to my business should deserve equity. And it's time as a CEO to allow every person that works for you in this world to know that they will always be included. I want to thank you guys so much for taking your time to listen to Camille St. I hope and pray that if you are a CEO, if you are a general manager, if you are a VP, whatever you are, that you can stand up to your boss, your CEO, the owner of your company, if they have diverted and disillusioned themselves to feel like this world is not diverse. I challenge you to challenge them to speak like that to their staff and you, and see how you'll feel. Get inspired to be diverse. Get inspired to be proud to provide equity to your team, and get inspired to include each and every one that brings value to your business. Thank you for coming to Camille Street.